ClearView allows managers to give their customers a relative score based upon objective criteria. We display each customer's score on the bidders and customer quote screens to give salespeople the information they need to make intelligent decisions about relative pricing. Best of all, ClearView lets you determine what makes up a good customer. This is done by weighting the criteria relative to each other. For example, your company's philosophy may be that volume is more important than price, and price is more important than how well your customers turn around your trucks. ClearView lets you customize the score based upon what's important to you. To set the criteria, from the My Office folder on the Navigator, select Trends. If you have set trends in the past, they will be listed here. To set the relative importance of the performance metrics, select Build Trend. On the Actions menu of the Trend Management screen, select Manage Performance Metrics. When the Performance Metrics Management screen opens, you'll see filter criteria at the top. We'll leave the company as all, then select the type. Since we're setting the criteria for customers, select Customer from the drop-down menu. We'll leave the active flag set to Yes, and we're setting the criteria for ready-mix concrete customers. In the Parameter Name column, you'll find a list of the available criteria, and the Parameter Description column describes the criteria for that parameter. As with most ClearView screens, you can adjust the column width to see more of the description. I'm going to shorten it so that we can see the weight, the daily, weekly, monthly, and active flags. The weight column is where you set the significance of the parameters used in the customer score relative to each other. The daily, weekly, and monthly column checkboxes tells ClearView that you want to calculate the metric on a daily, weekly, or monthly basis. The trend data is calculated automatically by a SQL job that runs at night. A prior month's data is not calculated until the 4th day of the next month to allow for auditing order data. Weekly data is calculated the following Tuesday night for the same reason. Daily metrics are calculated every night for the previous 7 days worth of production data. Keep in mind that the metrics can change as tickets are edited until the date in question is 8 days or greater in the past. Let's look at the available parameters. First, a few notes about nomenclature. MU stands for mix units. In this tutorial, we're setting the criteria for ready-mixed concrete, so unless you're doing metric, the MU is probably cubic yards. If we were setting the criteria for asphalt, the MU would likely be tons. Same for aggregates. Notice that customer score is an available parameter. It's included in this list so that you can compare customers to each other as well as to the average customer. It's a dependent parameter and is calculated based upon the weighting of the other parameters and is not included in the customer score. For the imaginary company in this tutorial, the ideal customer would take a lot of volume and generate a lot of revenue for the company. They would take full loads, turn trucks around quickly, order accurately, and place every yard delivered to them. This company has a new plant, so we'll have a lot of fixed costs to cover. For this company, volume is king. Let's assign gross volume a weight of 10. The actual number doesn't matter. What matters is how the weights relate to each other. To set the value, double-click on the field, and when the cursor appears, enter the value. We'll leave the job interval set to weekly and monthly. Revenue is the next most important criteria for us. If volume is 10, we'll set the gross revenue to 8. It's almost as important as volume. Average load size is significant because it has a big impact on delivery costs. Let's make it a 5. It's somewhat less important than price and half as important as volume. Unload performance is somewhat less important than average load size because it has less impact on delivery cost, and at least some of it is compensated for by standing time. We'll assign it a 3. Our dispatch department does a pretty good job of reacting to changing conditions, but we know that our planning and performance depends on our customers doing what they say they will. While not as important as how they handle our trucks on the job site, we still want to reward those who do a good job. So we'll set canceled orders and voided tickets to 2. Remember that the customer scores are measured relative to the other customers, so we're using percentages on both. We feel that all the parameters impact our performance to a lesser extent, so we'll leave the rest set at 1. Once you're happy with the weighting of the parameters, click Save, and ClearView will start collecting the performance data the next time the SQL job is run. To prompt ClearView to go back and calculate the data using the new criteria, from the Actions menu, select Rebuild Performance Data. Use extreme care when rebuilding the data, as it can generate a huge workload for the server that impacts its performance, particularly when selecting large date ranges. On the Rebuild Trend Data screen, select the company, then the type. In this case, we're building customer scores, so we'll leave it at Customer. Then select the metric to calculate. Since this is the first time that we're using this feature, we'll select them all. Then select the date range. Again, since this is the first time, we're going to go back 1 year. Remember that if you're running this for a large date range, while trucks are being dispatched, tickets are being edited, and billing is being generated, there may be a slowdown in the system while the job is being run. Once you're satisfied, click Rebuild. When the job is completed, click Close. Close the Performance Metrics Management screen. If you've built customer trends in the past, the new information will be available in the trend. We'll cover building trends and looking at the data in the next tutorial. This concludes our overview of weighting criteria for customer scores. We'd love to hear your feedback. Contact us at www.trucktracks.com or 800-626-4561.